Tēnā koutou katoa, everyone, and welcome back to Mucky Hope Productions. I'm your host, Mucky Hope, and oh my God, have I got an amazing person to chat with today. We've just had an amazing new show, Deal or No Deal Island 2, and I couldn't ask a more amazing person to chat to me all about it. Everyone, please welcome the amazing, the stunning, the wonderful, the brilliant. It's Michelle. How's it going, Michelle?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing so good, actually. I've missed you on the Australian Survivor podcast. I loved all our traders content together, but
yeah. I don't know. I've had such a big week after last weekend, just trying to catch up again because last weekend, I helped film Sydney Survivor 3. So I was away all weekend doing that. And then I spent the week trying to catch up and make sure I was up to date with Amazing Race. And then obviously Survivor's on. So, yeah. And Dondi.
And Dondi. Can't forget Dondi. But how was it making the fan-made Survivors? Because I tried making one yonks ago and it was just such a nightmare. It's so expensive as well. So how do you guys all do it?
It was really good. Obviously, everyone's doing it volunteer-wise. We had an Australian Survivor with us who was helping out, and they were up at not Extinction Island, Edge of Extinction, something like that. So they were helping people up there. But otherwise, it was good. It was raining on Sunday, but I just put on a poncho and went through, and it was all right. But it's pretty fast paced in that you have to literally do a challenge, and then you're doing the confessional, then you're going to tribal council, then you're doing confessional again, you're going to challenge again. So it's just on for 2 days, but it wrapped up pretty late on Sunday, like 10 o'clock in the Blue Mountains, which is outside of Sydney. Then I had to get home, get into bed for 1, and then get up for work at 6.
Oh, love it. Yeah, I recall when I tried to make mine, I made like a whole time schedule because I had a few friends who've got a production company with me, and I was like, all right, so every 15 minutes we've got confessionals, 15 minutes, we've got to sprint through it. I had like 14 people, and we've got to have 10 minutes of them to talk and look for advantages, and then we've got to move them to a challenge, but then we've got to move them straight to tribal. It was just so much. It just sucks.
I know.
It's
quite hard. I mean, I don't know how mine was in a day, my Sydney Survivor one that I did. I know one time we were actually strategizing walking to tribal, literally we had no time, and so we were talking on the way. So it's better being a weekend. Definitely. But Dondi is so much like Survivor, as well as obviously Deal or No Deal for the end of the episode, but it's very much strategy based.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's quickly talk about it. Dondi, the brand new reality TV show, last year had its first season, this year's had its second season. Do you reckon it's a hit or a miss?
I think it's a hit. Obviously, having some celebrities on there, or pseudo celebrities, what people call them, obviously brings in a fan base. And then I like having just regular, normal people mixed in with them as well. It helps with ratings. I know people don't like it, but it really helps.
Yeah, so I haven't seen the first season. I've seen a lot of clips of it, but I haven't watched the whole season entirely. So this is my first season of Dondi. And at first I was kind of like, does this really work? Like Survivor mixed with the Deal or No Deal. And I was really thinking about it. But do you know what really makes the show, Michelle? It's the cast.
Well, I think so. But I like the challenges as well. They're a bit different, obviously. I think it works because it's so different. Putting a TV game show and mixing it with alliances and strategy, it's cool. I think it's such a different concept, and I think people have liked having something different to sink their teeth into. Plus, if you've got the big draw cards like Rob and Parvati, they're going to come along to watch. I mean, I love Sari, and I know we're going to get to this at the end, but I don't think Sari is suited for Deal or No Deal Island. it needs to be someone who's a bit more physical, because you can see them running around all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And, even the first ever excursion or mission or challenge or whatever you want to call it, it's a thing that happens, right? That affects the outcome of, like, the end of the episode. The very first one, it had strategy to it. Do you want to go for the, the high cases straight away, which is a very hard obstacle to go through? Do you want to go for the medium/low cases where it may not guarantee safety, but overall safe spot? Or do you want to risk and be at like a top of a zip line, and you've got like, what is it, a stealer case, a swapper case, and like I forgot what the other one was, but I'm pretty sure it was another advantage like kind of case. So immediately you're dividing into everyone up on how they're going to play the game. We saw that David and Luke went for the more strategic based cases, and obviously it didn't work out for Luke, but it worked out great for David. But just showed them how he was willing to play the game. And I just loved that even in the TV show where majority of it is saying, yes deal, no deal, open that case, there's still so much social strategy involved. It's really quite surprising.
There's a lot of strategy. And, this is coming about in all the reality shows nowadays, the whole strategy with alliances and things, especially alliances. And a lot of people don't like the whole alliance thing because they think people should be trying to win off their own bat and win with their own, abilities. But no. If you want to get to the end, you need other people, because your social game might be fantastic, but you need some core crew to help you get to the end.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, just while we're on the subject, is there a perfect strategy to Dondi? We've seen a lot of people want to avoid the banker because if you make a bad deal, you can get eliminated. But there are other players like Rob who does want to face the banker as many times as you can, because obviously if you get a good deal, you're in charge of who goes home. Like, what do you think is a good strategy?
For myself, I wouldn't want to go up and play the game. I don't want to
really
go against the banker. No, because then you've got a chance to leave. I wouldn't want to leave. I would just make my social game so good. Well, not too good, because then you're a target, but enough so that people don't want to vote you off. So, I mean, not vote, like make you go. That would be my strategy. Be social, not too social. Don't play the banker. Try and get to the end.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard because I've always been the kind of person who's like, I want to grab my own fate, take it by my hands. And if I stuff it up, I stuff it up. But if I win, then I can say I got myself to that win. So if I was up for elimination, I would want to verse the banker, because I'd hate it if someone else just chose me to be eliminated. It's like I would rather I get myself eliminated, right? Or that way I can save my own alliance members and stuff.
I'd be too scared to do that. Too
scared?
Too scared. Because at the end of the day, it's not really strategy. It's more luck with the banker and picking the right case. So it's not really all on you. Yeah, and I'd rather have a game that's all on me.
Yeah. And, while I'm glad to hear, I'd love to be up there and, make all these good deals. I know I'll probably be just like Luke from the season. I'll walk out just $1 and
I know,
and I'd be out straight away. It's like, I'm going to be the greatest deal maker against a banker. Nah, just $1 and and walk away.
Yeah,
but
it can happen.
But let's talk about our boy Michelle. I wasn't going to watch the show just for Parvati, but when David was announced to be on the cast, I was like, I had to watch the show. And we see he walks away with the biggest cash prize in reality TV history of $5.8 million. What's your thoughts here on David's win?
Let me correct you, on reality network television history.
Sorry, my bad. That's right.
Mr. Beast has
right?
given away the most.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. He was very gutsy. He shouldn't have gone that far. Like, everyone's saying he's just crazy to have done that. But he said he was channeling his dad, and his dad was showing him the cases. And he said he wasn't really there. It was more of an out-of-body experience, trying to figure out what was there, and obviously getting this word from up above. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. One thing he did that a lot of people on Deal or No Deal do, and that this is if you watch the show, they pick cases that have some significance to them.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was on the show, I wouldn't pick the cases with significance. I'd pick the cases which have no significance, because I think that the cases with significance would be the big ones. So I have this different mindset to a lot of people who are on Deal or No Deal, you know, not the island, but any of them, that I would do the opposite way. What would you do?
Well, it's really hard because it is that thing. For example, 5 is my lucky number. I'm born on the 5th. I'd say 6 is also lucky because I was born 10 minutes before December 6th. I was born at 11:50 p.m., right? So I can say, like, oh, I was born at these times. My favorite, you know, Star Wars clone trooper was Commander 5's. But then, you know, that number's so special to me. It's like, oh, that is worth $12 million. You get what I mean? So why would I want to
you
open
probably
it up?
pick that as your case, the 5.
Yeah.
But then your birthday, not your birthday, like your birthday is the 5th, but what would you do? The next case you pick, would it be something that's special to you or not?
I mean, I feel like it has to be, you have to be in the moment, right? Because I can look at, you know, the 8th, that's when my dad is born. I could be like, oh, 8 because my dad's born on the 8th.
Yeah, but wouldn't you leave that till the last? Wouldn't you leave that till the last thinking it's a special case?
Yeah.
Like people, I don't understand. I think differently. It drives me crazy that people do that.
I guess when like the adrenaline is flowing through you, right? It's like you feel drawn to specific cases and just can't get that number out of your head, right? So it's like, well, I feel that one is specifically calling to me. So yeah, unless if you're George and then you pick the one with the lady with the lovely hair or something, right? Wasn't that the first case he picked?
Yes.
He's like, it's someone unexpected, so therefore it must be the lady with the lovely hair. So
so funny.
Yeah, but you know, so David's come out. He's won Australian Survivor. He won Deal or No Deal Island. Is David the goat of reality TV?
I don't know. Maybe he has to go on the challenge.
Yeah,
maybe you have to win 3.
Yeah, he has to win the challenge, Big Brother, and Traders, and then he's won everything, right? Yeah. And Mr. Beast.
I don't know whether 2 makes you the best of reality TV, even though I saw an article earlier today which said he's the best in reality TV, and it was an American article. But yeah, it's only 2 shows. I think I'd need 3 to call someone the
3?
Best.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's hard because you've got to, like, you know, I guess break down his games. So obviously in Australian Survivor, he played 2 very dominant games. He got blindsided first time he played Item in his pocket. And in All Stars, he made his social game was so strong that no one was ever willing to flip on him when, you know, everything was pointing that he had to go. And then comes on Deal or No Deal Island, you know, everyone finds out that he's, you know, this winner of Australian Survivor. Even Philip is like, no millionaire should win twice, but he still gives them the highest case value anyways. Yeah. It's like, has anyone else won 2 shows, like Survivor and another show?
And something else. Yes. Rachel, Big Brother and Amazing Race. Didn't she win both?
Okay.
Did she win Big Brother? Or was she just big on Big Brother?
No clue. I've no idea who Rachel is.
Now I have
that
to.
Name,
I can't search when there's only 2 of us on the podcast.
You can search if you want. I'll just start blabbing.
Just talking.
Just talk. Okay, so my thoughts on David on Deal or No Deal Island, right? I feel like he played the perfect social game, right? We saw he had so many great one-on-one connections. Even Dr. Will, who, you know, him and David had sort of had a rivalry with, ended up trusting him, you know, before David decided to get him eliminated. And I feel like it's very hard to find players these days who, you know, are just so good at, you know, like we've seen Boston Rob, for example. He's done many different shows, Traders, Amazing Race, Deal or No Deal Island, Survivor, but he hasn't taken out the win on those other shows. He's been a massive character, massive player on those other shows, but he hasn't taken out the win, whereas David has. So I guess one question I'm sort of thinking about is, does legacy play a massive part of it? Because no one knew who David was, but obviously everyone knows who Boston Rob is. It doesn't matter what show he's on, everyone knows who he is. Would you say that legacy plays some massive factor?
I think so, because it either puts a target on your back or it makes people want to work with you. You know, I just searched up Rachel Riley. She came third in both Amazing Race seasons. So she won Big Brother, came third.
Okay.
But she came into Amazing Race and people all had preconceived ideas about her. And some of them were true because she's a massive whinger. But you know, I think in some ways they know how you play a game. Doesn't matter what it is, they can see sort of your thought processes. And I think that weighs in on people like Rob, who can't get very far in Traders because people are just threatened by him. And I think the same would be for David if he played Traders. I think if enough people have seen him in this, in Don D, that he would have a hard time, very hard time getting anywhere. They just think he's a traitor and kill him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess let's quickly talk about this. You know, what other shows do we think David can do now that he's got a foothold in Dondi? Do you reckon he should go on Traders US?
I think his profile has been raised to such an extent over there that he will be asked to do other shows.
Yeah.
Whether he thinks it's going to be worthwhile, because he's not going to get to the end of maybe he can get to the end of the challenge. Yeah. I don't think he'd get to the end of Traders. And what else is there?
There's American Survivor, but I saw an interview with him recently where he admitted he would never do a normal season of Survivor again. It would have to be something like really special. Like Australia vs. the World, which we'll talk about a bit later on in this podcast. Yeah. But I mean, I think he can do well in Traders. The only issue I see with him is, you know, with his profile being raised so much, because we saw that Tony, one of the most famous American survivors, played Traders, and people took him out not because of the game he played in Survivor, but just the sheer fact that he won twice. It was like, well, clearly he did something to win twice. We gotta take him out. So I can see maybe something similar happening where it's not people realizing the game that David played, but somehow he walked away with $5.8 million, the biggest reality TV network cash prize.
Yeah.
So people might get a little bit jealous of that, but I feel like it would be an amazing trader, though.
Yeah, I think he would be. He'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, like we literally saw him snowball, like Dixon, who I have gotten to know through online Survivor. He's a massive super fan of the show, and he didn't know Australian Survivor. We see David's like, "Oh, do you reckon I'll be good on Survivor?" It's like, "Yeah, I think you'll be all right. You'll be you'll make it far."
I know, and yet a lot of American super fans do watch Australian Survivor, so that surprised me that he hadn't watched it. He knew that we had it, but not watched it.
I guess it must be more recent seasons, because obviously Heroes vs. Villains blew the world wide apart. Titans vs. Rebels, everyone tuned in to watch that, and now everyone's watching leading up to Australia vs. the World. So I guess maybe not excited to watch. Very, very exciting.
Oh,
but what's your favorite David moment on the show?
When who was talking to him? Someone was talking to him in the gazebo area, and they were trying to explain to him about Survivor and strategy. And he just kept looking off to the camera when the other person wasn't looking at him. I love it when he does stuff to camera. And that was really funny when he was trying to, get information. So, how does it work and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, this is good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just love that she's just explaining everything about Parvati, everything about Survivor to him. And he's just acting so clueless on it. Like, give this man an Emmy, give him an Oscar. His acting is so good. I would say for me personally, just everything between him and Dr. Will, I just enjoyed so much. Like just the rivalry they had, and the fact that Dr. Will even clocked it, that he must have won another reality TV show, which actually, I just remembered something. He has won another reality TV show. It was like a modeling kind of one. like a
Really?
supermodel
Who?
kind of one. Yeah,
Mark.
I forgot what the
Who?
name of it
David?
was. Yeah, David. Hold on, I forgot to find the name of it.
Well, not a
Reality
competition or an actual show.
I believe it was. Oh, it might have been a competition.
Because he was
Never
a model
mind.
for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, everything is just about Deal or Neil to Island, so never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was some kind of competition or like a small thing to do with models. It's obviously before he did Survivor. So yeah, I don't know, it just randomly went to my brain. I heard it on another podcast. But
no, has anyone won too? Like, good
yeah.
question. I wish there were people here to tell us. Go
Yeah,
and
I
search.
know. Yeah, but I guess enough about David. We had two other reality TV contestants come on. We had Parvati and Dr. Will, and I'd love to get your thoughts on Parvati. How well do you reckon she played on the
She
show?
did well. I like that she
Yeah,
got far. And I think she knew that she was a target. And so she has to put herself with someone else who's a big player to hope
yeah,
to get through to the end. She couldn't be with any of the, I'm not calling them weaker, but she needed someone who actually knew what they were really doing. And
yeah,
teaming up with David was the best hope she had, I think. And they're
yeah,
shields for each other.
yeah. I
Do you
feel like it
think
was
the
almost
same?
yeah, I do. I feel like it was almost every super fan's dream to see David and Parvati team up here. We've all got like our brain steel simulations of how these global survivor players would work well with each other, and now we actually get to see it, right? And
I know.
yeah, I felt like Parvati did really well. I feel like she works well. She's on an island. She's in a classic environment where everything is a social game. Because obviously we saw on Traders, but she immediately gets almost like the Tony treatment or the Rob treatment of, well,
Yeah.
she's a famous survivor player. She must be a trader. So no one trusted her. So it's nothing that she really could have done. Whereas I feel like in a show like this, where it's all just social, there's a little bit of paranoia, but it's not 24/7 like the Traders, where she can truly work some magic and swoosh over all these different contestants. And I thought she was going to go somewhat early when Dr. Will, called her out on her secret.
Did
But she
you?
lasted, yeah, because I was like,
Oh,
everyone's going to realize she's got all the secret one-on-one alliances going. But no, I was
yeah.
truly impressed with how far she went.
I think on this show in particular, I don't think their brains get as messed up as on Survivor because, Survivor,
Yeah.
they're dirty, they're not eating, they're in the rain, they're always paranoid. Traders, they're in a house together. They think they're going to get murdered. They're always paranoid about who's who. On this island, apparently they were treated amazingly. They had lovely accommodation. They had lovely food. So there's a bit of a step away from the game in that they don't have to actually think about it the whole time because they've got this other lovely environment around them. And I think that made some of them not step up their game as much as they could have to try and get Parvati and David out.
Yeah.
But I think they were just really likable and really social players, and they really played it well and played everybody well to keep them around.
Yeah, because obviously when you're starving or when you're really paranoid, hang on, just before I continue with my point, hello, Lucia. Thank you so much for joining our podcast. You are an absolute legend. But like when you're starving and you're really paranoid like on Traders, you can make some mistakes and it just makes people snap, makes people break. Something I've heard most often with Traders New Zealand players is that, Lucy's fine. I'm so sorry for mispronouncing your name, but is that you're paranoid 24/7 from when you wake up in the morning because you don't know if you've been murdered during the night or not till when you go straight to sleep. One conversation you have in the morning, you say something completely different just before bedtime. Someone might realize that you're a traitor, or someone might be plotting your downfall, right? So you have to be so careful 24/7. But you're absolutely right with this show. Who cares? Just sit back, chill, relax, just be super likable, which is what David and Parvati are really good at doing, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But one player.
We can say that as we're sitting here.
Yeah, exactly. Just be likable, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
But speaking of being likable, we had someone who pissed a lot of people off very early on, and that is Dr. Will. Now, I haven't seen a lot of Big Brother, but I'd love to hear from you. Have you seen
I haven't seen his seasons. When he was coming on, I did look at a couple of clips, and he just looked like your typical American, got an amazing sense of self-worth, like just waltzing around the house being King Muck. And I think that's the sort of person he still is now. And obviously that confidence made him win Big Brother. I don't know how many other shows he'd been on between Big Brother and now, because it's been quite a few years.
He was on that one random mission in Traders US season 2. I forgot what the mission even was. Yeah. Similar to Kate and Parvati when they came on in the last season.
God, I didn't even notice. Okay.
Maybe that's just a tease for, keep an eye out. Will and Parvati are going to be coming back together. But
Parvati's been busy, hasn't she?
She's been very busy.
Like wearing that beautiful gown for Traders 3. And then this Australia versus the world, like she's got nothing to do next year.
And writing a book. She's got a book coming out this year as well. Yeah. Was it like Girls Don't Play Nice or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Parvati's been super busy. But I guess going back on Dr. Will, like at the start, I was like, who is this guy? He's just coming in, just blabbing everything, thinking he's like, King Moncho Poncho. But towards the end, I actually really liked him on the show. Yeah. Like he was creating that drama that we all wanted. We want to see like David go up against like another reality TV strategic threat. We want to see Parvati do the same thing.
Exactly.
And I felt like that drama heavily carried like the middle portion of the game.
Exactly. And at the end when he threw the plank in the water, I'm like, oh, that does nothing to David. Are you kidding? He's just getting it. You got to throw it farther than that.
Yeah. Actually, but I did love though some clips of Dr. Will where it was the excursion where they're being hoisted up and Dixon is really afraid of heights, and Dr. Will's plan is just to pull it to make him obviously feared out of his life. Yeah. But he pulls it at the same time. And Dr. Will's so mad about it, he just storms off in the jungle and doesn't come back.
Someone's just up, undone everything he got planned.
Yeah. And even when he's doing, the game of Deal or No Deal, he's just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and just going up like that. And he just walks off into the distance for no reason and comes back later. And Joe's just like, and Dr. Will's gone. All right. And it's just like, he's just got to do what he does.
How hard is it to actually have a show if one of the characters just decides to walk off? But that's obviously the caliber of reality, gameplay that he has because he's so well known. He just does what he wants.
And even that moment where he called, all right, I'm going to take the deal, before Joe could officially announce it. And then it's like, actually, I'm not taking the deal because you didn't officially announce it. Like, I could just see the frustration on Joe's face. He's like, this guy is really pulling every string.
Yeah. It was good. It was good giving him a run for his money, Joe. Like even David giving the banker a run for her money on Friday. My daughter came in the room and said, why is she lying on the floor? I said, look, I don't know why. I think she's frustrated, but she's on the floor.
Yeah. But like, even during that finale as well, I don't know what your experience was like, but with me, I was like, I felt sick in my stomach watching it.
Oh, sick. I felt like vomiting.
Yeah.
But a lot of my friends felt the same. They just felt like they wanted to be sick because he just wasn't taking the deal and he was going to lose all the money, and they were so invested in him winning. And I mean, it was good. It was good that he got to that point and he was chosen at the beginning of the episode, but then we all knew we had to get through, the whole game at the end, and he could very easily have lost. Yeah.
Well, obviously he does make the right call in accepting the $5.8 million, because if he said no deal, he would have gotten the $750. But how hard is it, Michelle? You have a 50-50 chance to get $12 million. Like, you could take like so many years off your life.
Well, that's crazy. I mean, 5.8 is 9 million Aussie. So it's a lot of money. I want to know, because he was living in America for 25 years. I want to know if he's taxed on the American rate for winnings. Like in Australia, we don't get taxed on winnings. We get it. Yeah. I want to know if he's just getting the 9 million or if he's being taxed, like basically nearly half of it away.
Yeah.
Really like to know, but I don't know how we'd find that out.
Yeah. I'm sure we can just, privately message David. We're obviously both really good friends with him. I'm sure he'll give us all the tax deals, when it comes to Deal or No Deal Island.
I don't know. David is look, I've met him once, but he's so high above everyone else. Like,
oh, really?
To contact. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I haven't tried to talk to him. It's just too hard. Yeah. But most of the others I've talked to now. But he is just so high.
Yeah.
I just can't.
I mean, he predicted he was going to win Deal or No Deal and Australian Survivor. So he's like, well, I got to get all these systems in place because I'm going to be the top dog of reality TV.
Yeah, well, is he going to win Australia versus the world?
We're going to have to wait and find out. But I guess speaking of Australia versus the world, we see that him and Parvati have got a very close relationship. They formed it straight away on Deal or No Deal Island. She never reveals about his secret. But David, he did put Parvati up to play the banker, and she gets eliminated. Do you reckon that there will be some love loss because he put Parvati up to play the banker?
Have you seen Instagram? Have you seen this?
I have. It was only as I asked. Yeah. It was only as I asked that question, I was like, this is the most stupidest question I've ever
No. But as I've said before, game respects game. Yeah. And even if they vote each other out on Australia versus world, I don't think they'd hold anything against each other. And so I think their relationship would still be there, and we wouldn't be able to see much of a difference. Obviously, we've sort of discovered that Australia versus world filmed after Deal or No Deal Island. So they've got this relationship going in. Be very interesting if they even acknowledge each other when it starts. I'd like to see if their eyes actually lock on or they pretend they don't know each other. Or Parvati even mentions it to other people that she was on Deal or No Deal. It's going to be really interesting to see how she plays it.
Yeah. Well, I guess the big question is, do you reckon that David will flip on his fellow Australians to work with Parvati?
Well, at Merge, I mean, anything can happen at Merge. I don't know. That's an interesting question. I mean, they have to get to Merge first, both of them. That's hard enough. With the big players. But there's enough Americans on the international tribe. There's enough Americans there to just vote off, the South African, the whatever. Is it she from Denmark? Or he from Denmark? I can't remember.
Finland and Quebec,
Yeah, the Americans could team up and just vote them off. I think it's bad that they had more Americans than anything else, because then it's sort of, hopefully it's not a foregone conclusion, but you never know.
Well, I do have some tea about that. The original season was Australia versus America. However, and I'll be going this in a video which I will be uploading tomorrow, on why I think Jeff Probst needs to be sacked from Survivor US. I think that maybe there was, with the season 50 news, because that sort of dropped almost near the same time, I reckon there was maybe a whole thing of, if you do Australia versus America, you'll never be invited back for season 50. And so
but I don't think Parvati wanted to go back anyway. She'd already done 40.
No, she said in an interview as well, she only did 40 because she just didn't want to miss out, because a lot of her friends were going back into play, but she wasn't in the best headspace to go back and play, and she didn't want to do 50 simply because the same thing at Winners of War would have probably happened on season 50, like Rob, Sandra, Parvati, Tyson, all
and Tony wouldn't have gone back to do 50. I mean, he's done the best he can do. Like, seriously, why would you do it again? So Jeff's, silly statement didn't affect those two anyway.
No.
Wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. But, we're also going to be seeing Parvati and David come back for Australia versus the world. Is there any new players on this cast who you'd love to see appear on other shows?
On this cast that we've just had?
Yeah.
On Dondi?
On Dondi, yeah.
Oh, God, I'd like to see CK on something.
Yeah.
On, like, Traders would be fun.
Yeah.
I can't imagine any of them on The Amazing Race, because who would they pair up with? None of them really pair up together very well.
Maybe Letty and Dixon, the island boyfriend girlfriend.
She's so much taller.
I know.
Ridiculous.
I mean, hey, love comes in many different heights, Michelle.
Well, yes, but every time they were together, I'm like, oh, this looks so weird. I'd like to see Dixon on something else. He's such a cute sort of player. But I think he's got a brain up there that could push him forward. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he would actually do great on something like New Era Survivor, where he does kind of have the, oh, shucks, look at me, kind of like make everyone have a soft spot for him. Because that's something that Letty had. She was like, oh, he's actually starting to warm up to me. You know what I mean? When he had this, oh, shucks kind of attitude. And I felt like that would very much help him throughout. But even seeing Luke and Sydney, I'd love to see them come back and play. Luke amazingly won them $1 on the show. Sydney, was instantly, she fell in love with David and went nuts over him. It was so funny to watch. On
Survivor, everyone would not like.
Yeah.
She's just so hype. She's just, well, not that she's a bad person, but she's just so erratic, and can you imagine being in her alliance and like going to talk to someone else, and she'd be so anxious, and why are you talking to them? And I think she'd be a train wreck, so she'd be fun to watch.
Yeah. But in terms of like a good player I'd love to see come and play is easily not Seychelles, is it Lachelle? Lachelle.
Not Seychelles, that's a place. I'm pretty sure it was Lachelle.
Let me quickly switch it up. Lachelle, Deal, or I can't spell Deal or No Deal. Island. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, Lachelle. Yeah, she made 6. Yeah. And I'd love to see her come and play Survivor. She's a social worker. She played a very good social game in luring people in, but she didn't give too much out, but still made people feel like she was like a close ally, at least, of hers. And I reckon Letty would be great as well. Yeah. How about you? Any other players that you'd love to see from this cast on any other shows?
Oh, the old guy. What was his name?
Oh, was it Rock?
I don't know what else he'd do, but I thought he was a really interesting character. Maybe he'd be good if he like did Amazing Race with his brother or something like that, because I always have that sort of team on, because I don't know what else he'd be suited for. But I was sad when he left. I thought, I didn't want him to go. Yeah.
And I guess for the show overall, we've had Boston Rob, we've had David, Parvati, Dr. Will on. Who else would you like to see next on Deal or No Deal Island?
Look, I want Kelly Wentworth on something. I want her on Traders or Deal or No Deal Island. Can someone please ring her and put her on one of them? She'd be so good, and I don't understand why she hasn't been snapped up. And is she in? She isn't even in the rumored season 50 cast, is she?
No, she's not.
I didn't see her picture there, but there's lots of old school on there, which is quite exciting. But Kelly Wentworth, who would you like to see?
I reckon Tony Sarah Lucina.
Oh.
I reckon that'd be pretty great. I feel like Tony's like chaotic, like energy. Sarah, she loves to be in control of things and stuff. But obviously, we saw that Dixon just randomly blindsided Storm, and people doing random things when they're versing the banker. I feel like there'll be a very interesting position for Sarah. I reckon Tony's craziness would just blow everything wide apart as well. Maybe even like a Tyson. Even as well. I feel like Tyson would be pretty great.
Yeah, I think he would be. Obviously, I'd love to see Philip on anything.
Yes.
I think I'd like Philip more on Traders, and maybe someone like Coach on Deal or No Deal Island.
Coach would be phenomenal on Deal or No Deal Island. And we do have a commentator, Luke Toki. I'd love to see Luke play. He'll be pretty good on a show like this.
Yeah, I don't think, but we need an Aussie version for that to happen.
True.
Yeah,
and
I was thinking about Luke the other day. I thought Luke would be good, but we need an Aussie version because the whole reason why they've got David is because he has American citizenship or something as well.
Yeah,
Australian something.
Yeah. I do think Luke would steamroll it though. Even Shawnee, I feel like Shawnee would, because all it is just being likable.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to like weasel your way through likable with a little bit of strategy and some challenge, I guess, prowess, and you'll be all good on the show.
True.
Any closing remarks before we wrap up the stream? Any final thoughts on Dundee? Anything you'd like to see in the future?
I'd love to see an Australian one, but I don't think they will. Because they can't. They're not even. Well, no, I've heard they're bringing traders back. The Australian one.
Oh, they are.
I've heard from a little bird that they've liked the how much everyone has been watching the streams of US traders on 10 Play. So it's a possibility now. They're actually talking about it again.
Oh, that'll be pretty exciting.
Yeah, we could put Luke on that.
Yeah. Would you go out and play traders?
I would, but I want the race first.
True.
Because I do love traders. I do love, I've told you before, I've done online games for traders, and traders is such a good game without sleep deprivation and food and sleeping in the rain sort of thing. It's similar to Survivor.
Do you reckon we can maybe get some of like Traders New Zealand players or Kiwis on Traders Oz as well?
I don't think they do the crossover.
Maybe after AU versus the World, we get Traders AU versus Traders New Zealand.
That would be good.
Yeah.
They've done it with the race. They could do it with Traders.
I mean, just any excuse to see Sam on our screens again, and I'll just be super happy.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that does bring us towards the end of our podcast. Michelle, thank you so much for coming on and chatting everything and nothing about Deal or No Deal Island. Any exciting projects you'd like to advertise?
Projects. Australian Survivor finishes in 3 weeks. I know there's a Brisbane finale party. There's a Sydney. We're doing a penultimate finale party, so we're doing the night before the finale. Only because maybe we can get some more Sydney players at it, because on finale night they tend to do it with their families or cast members. So and I haven't heard if there's a Melbourne one yet, but one will probably come up.
And I guess for us tomorrow there will be a video out about the new season 50 cast, my initial reactions on who got cut from the show. There's been a lot of massive dramatic posts online and my thoughts about season 50 as a whole. Then on Monday, we'll be doing a live stream with V and Drew on the Rumored Cast, talking about everyone that is on the show. But wait, there is more. We're still doing our Australian Survivor coverage, myself and Stags Hero. We just had one with useless Australian Survivor facts and Australian Survivor memes. So make sure you check that out.
Were they on together?
They were on together.
Oh my God, I have to watch it. Have they ever met in real life? Those two are great.
Yeah, they are so funny. I loved having them both on.
Oh my God.
Even just the first 5 minutes was just so dramatic.
Chaos.
Yeah. I won't say what happens on here, but make sure you guys do check out that podcast. But until next time, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Michelle, it's got a winky face. Like, are you subscribed?
Very clever.
Yeah, very,
I don't
very
know.
clever.
Have I subscribed? I think I have.
Imagine if you haven't subscribed this entire time. Maybe I haven't subscribed.
Maybe I need to go there really quick.
Yeah. But make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let us know down below in the comments what your thoughts on Deal or No Deal Island were. But until next time, I'm your host, Mucky Hope. Ka kite anō, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy, guys. Bye.
Bye.